Welcome back to yet another development log for Glaucus Linux. So, to recap on what happened in the previous part, we were trying to fix the bootstrap process of the toolchain. And since, I don't know, it's been like 2 or 3 months before, without any bootstrap attempts, like it failed. Um, which is unsurprising, to be honest. Like, if it worked, I'd be concerned. So, um, we successfully reached the final package or two, I believe. I think it's the final package. Let's check. So, lib standard C++ was yes. So we only have the final package left. Um, and yes, so I was suspecting these options. So this is a toolchain bootstrap. So I probably should tone down the options so I can better um, isolate the variables or the options that are in place. So yes, we're mostly concerned with these options now. Let's see. I think I have them documented. Yeah, that doesn't look good. Okay, let's see. It should be in here, and then clone. Yes, I have these documented. So this is related to transactional memory, liberty. We don't need this. It's basically another libc, and we already have one. Though I think both binary utilities and GCC provide it, or it could be a common flag between the two build systems, which happens at least for the top level configuration file. Sanitizers for early toolchain and cross builds, and for musl, I don't think work well. So let's see. I hope I have these documented. So I'm going to leave. Perhaps let's open this here, and then let's go to, yeah, this is wrong. This was the wrong directory. So um, yes, this was the correct one. It was in build and then musl and then libstd. Okay. Wait, what? Why am I going there? Never mind. So we need to go here and then do this. Okay. And then we can see the verbose option. I can't type today. So termination messages to standard error. I believe the GCC manual, I think if we, uh, isn't there documentation here? There should be documentation as well. So inside lib standard, cd lib standard, inside the documentation, I believe the HTML documentation, and inside the manual, like we have this, and we can check this exactly. So disable host, disable standard. This is an alias for disable hosted lib standard C++. By default, the library is configured to write descriptive messages to standard errors, such as calling a pure virtual function or the invocation. Those messages depend on the standard output, which this option does not change the OK. Disables those messages, which might be undesirable in a low memory environment or when standard error is not available. So those messages code allowed to depend. Yeah. So I understand we're going for low memory builds, but I think we have standard error. So I don't think we need this option for now. Okay, precompiled headers, we don't. Let's keep these disabled. The C locale, generic for musl libc. Let's go to the allocator. So the kind of the allocator, and of course the help file gives nothing. It's set for on auto. I mean, most of the times, like you can't trust these to pick, or usually you can't trust them to pick the correct option, but for GCC in particular, like the configuration scripts are like way too bizarre, since also GCC existed before this entire auto tools thing. So let's check this. Do we have anything in here? Okay. And another thing we can do is we can read the configuration file and then see what options do we have. Okay, so it's either new malloc, yes or no. So apparently the malloc option or the new, oh yes, yes. So it either uses new or malloc. Let's see. So the options choices are new to specify a wrapper for new and malloc to specify a wrapper for malloc. Extension allocators. No, we don't need the C headers yet. So wait, I don't think these are the only options yet. Shared memory allocators. Okay, the GNU is automatically selected. This is an abbreviated form of understandable, so it's not for enabled C locale, generic. If not explicitly specified with newlib and openbsd, this option changes the library ABI. Enable. Okay, so this is an abbreviated form of the auto, which is understandable. Option select a target specific for the underlying allocator implementation. The choices are new to specify wrapper to new and malloc to specify wrapper for malloc. And then we should check out this memory HTML section for more information on the library. Okay, so they're making it easy. Let's check the allocator section. So allocators, entities, and I hope this is okay. So this isn't very long. Let's see. So we want to compare simply wraps malloc and free. There is also a hook for an out of memory handler. This is taken care of elsewhere. The malloc operator, the malloc list, implements such a thing. So the caching, okay, that's calling the function operator new unspecified. This function is called. The use of the hint is specified, intended to aid. Implements the simple operator new, and the semantics implements the same. Okay, so both of them implement these two options. However, one wraps new, the other wraps malloc, if I understood correctly. Okay, this is interesting. Since GCC 12, the default choice for allocator is the new allocator. Before GCC 12, it was the, wait, what? Oh, okay, it was the new allocator extension, which has identical, so it was an extension, which had an identical behavior. So if GCC is defaulting to new, and newer versions of GCC are defaulting to that, I don't think I'm going to mess with this. One would use a custom allocator, and I'm not planning on using a custom allocator like I'm. Musl's default allocator is totally fine for now. The high performance single pool, the reusable memory is okay. So I think I'm going to remove this as well. Let's just let the auto figure it out. We have this one as well, so let's just check the time. Use kind, exactly, very, very useful. So information, nano sleep. Okay, this is checking for different compilers. Okay, so let's close this and then let's do a cxx time. Enable, this is an abbreviated form of the standard C++ library. Time equals yes. Enables link time checks, clock get time, clocks used in the implementation of time.clock. Okay, nano sleep, and scheduled functions. The choice, yes, checks for the availability of the facilities in the C library, while the RT option also checks in librt if needed. Now, if I recall correctly, um, okay, let's just double check something real quick. So if we went in, no, that's the wrong directory. So, yeah, yeah, exactly. So I don't think musl provides a librt. I think it's included in the libc library, and these are just stubs for compatibility with glibc. So I don't think using the RT option, I used to use the RT option before understanding this, so I don't think we need to use the RT option for this. Linking to librt is not always desirable because for glibc it requires linking to libpthread as well, which causes all reference counting to use atomic operations, resulting in a potentially large overhead for single OK. That is understandable. No skips the tests completely, and auto skips the checks and enables OK. So for Linux targets, so if I understood correctly, like this is the function that's being used and from the C library, and I believe musl defines this. So if we can, let's go to here and then musl, and then we can do this. Clock get time, include time. So yes, checks include time, and there you have it. So it's defined. Very interesting. So let's check if the abbreviated form also defaults to something, because this is an abbreviated form and it defaults to yes. Okay, so the abbreviated form of enable lib stdcx equals yes. So generally I dislike using abbreviated forms of options. However, to stay consistent, like using the word enable and then yes, like it's just doesn't work in my head. So enable, you don't need to have a yes next to it, though I understand because of the options and so on, but for consistency's sake, I'm going to leave it at that. And used in the implementation of time clock and OK nanosleep, and this function is used. The choice option yes checks for the availability in libc, which is what we have, and that's the abbreviated form, so I'm going to keep it here. And threads, obviously, like why C++ threads support. Like if we plan on building modern software with this, we need this, and the same thing, it's an abbreviation. Let's get back here. So we have the TS. Wait, so I think, do I have the time over here? Yes, basically, so I had this documented, and let's check the threads. I don't have this documented. So we have the file system. I also don't have this documented anyways. So file system TS, okay. Whether this option was given or not. So what internal flag is being enabled? This target, it checks for the okay, and then enable C. Okay, not much information. Yeah, I probably don't need this. Let's try for here, file system. Okay, so the table verify, the C++, enable lib standard TS, also lib standard C++ file system, as well as the usual, these two libraries. This is enabled by default on select POSIX targets, where it is known to work, and disabled otherwise. So it's enabled by default, and I am disabling it, where it's known to work. Now, why did I disable this? I probably should have documented it. I was probably busy testing something else, so I was trying to shave. Oh yes, okay, so I remember. So lib standard C. Let's do a fs. Yes, okay, so I sorry about that. So I was trying to yeah, so I was deleting these two manually either way. After the build concluded, and I thought this option would disable this entirely, because I don't think like this file system TS thing is needed. Though I'm not sure, I'm still not sure, and I need more tests. Okay, for now, I'm going to remove it so I can rule out what caused that weird bug that we saw. And then we have the lock policy. So the lock policy, okay, finally some options. Synchronization policy for shared pointer reference counting. So I have atomic, mutex, and auto. So lock policy. It uses this internal option, and it's set to auto, and then it checks for invalid argument, and so these are our options. So it's atomic, mutex, and auto. And I hope, yes, I have this. So the atomic one is basically simpler than the mutex one, which is understandable, but let's see what the official documentation says, because I'm not trusting the last time I documented these options. Sets the lock policy that controls how a shared pointer reference is synchronized. Atomic enables the use of atomics for updates, understandable, of the shared pointer reference counts. Mutex enables the use of a mutex to synchronize updates to shared pointer reference counts if the compiler thread model is single, which is, well, we're not using single. I think we're using the POSIX thread model. We have it. Yes, we're using the POSIX thread model. Then this option has no effect, has no synchro. Okay, makes sense. The default is option auto, which checks for the availability of the compiler built-ins for 2-byte and 4-byte atomic compare and swap, and uses atomic if they're available. Okay, so option mutex otherwise, and it can. I'm going to keep this because like it makes sense to use atomic then, and I hope this won't be the cause. It would be weird otherwise. So let's close everything for now. No, I'm not going to write this. And let's keep these two open for now. Okay, so let's get back here, and then this is an old habit of mine to clean before the tool chain. And I'm not going to waste your time by not pausing the video in this build, because we're going to rebuild it for a couple of times. Now, you might say why I'm not using Ccache or any sort of build cache for these projects. You know, sorry about that. You know, like the bootstrap process has several stages, and you need to build Ccache for every stage so that it knows the compiler of that stage, and it can cache stuff for it, if that makes sense. Other than that, uh, there are a lot of false positives. Like as you saw, sometimes a small option, configuration option might change uh, a lot of stuff. This might get picked by Ccache, but based on personal, totally scientific experiments, there were many cases in which like I'd go back and configure an option otherwise or disable something or change a minor option here and there, and it wouldn't get picked by Ccache. That was, I think, prior to the fourth version. Um, so and I was like, I don't care how much time is saved. Like bootstraps used to take only like 7 to 8 minutes, maybe shorter now. If Ccache had probably or, or had cached most of the process by now, but it was at the expense of correctness. So there were a lot of false positives that wouldn't get picked up and that would result in perhaps the code compiling correctly, but then when you test the bootstrap or the process again on a new machine or on the same machine without that build cache, it won't work. So there's that. Yeah, let's pause this for now. Okay, now that the build of GCC has concluded, um, well, it took only 7 or 8 minutes, like which is impressive. We're not optimizing. I don't think I'm optimizing this. Let's see. So build dash toolchain, and we have O0. So this is not getting optimized. It's getting stripped. Yeah, this is where things took another turn. Like I'm purposefully disabling. Okay, so sorry, this is for libgcc static, so I need to disable this either way. So never mind. And now fingers crossed this works. Like if it doesn't, then something is really broken. um, until this finishes, let's do another check for these. Um, Nothing looks out of the ordinary. Let's try running any of them. And then let's try running this. Okay. Now you may be wondering why isn't this optimized if it's, yeah, this failed. Well, never mind. I'm going to check why it's failing before whatever you were wondering. So let's see, lib standard, this. I think it's the same error again and again. So relocation against this symbol. I think we can all see the cause here, hopefully, and why the final link has failed. So stamp libs include bits stamp C compatibility backwards experimental, and then okay, these are safe to ignore. These two, only these two. The above, I've never seen them before, so this is going to be interesting. So, and we have these as well. Let's see. So it's a bad value, so Did I change any of these? Our path, static, init fini, link serialization, host shared, static, generic. I don't think this makes much sense. You know what? I'm going to remove this. And oh, I forgot to check for this zone info as well. Let's remove it for now. And let's remove this as well. I'm trying to disable everything that I enabled me here. So yeah, not just this, but what did we do? So we broke everything with this. Mm-hmm. Let's try. I think I removed the purpose option. Yes, I removed this. And then the time, I'm going to remove this as well. Wait, I think I had this option instead, so. And for the threads, these were added. So I don't think it has to do with any of these. It's pointing to the linker, and it must be something with however we configured this. So build nodes, and yeah, it has to be one of them. With DFD, or it might, I think, yeah, exactly. It's probably, yeah, this is, okay. I said I wasn't trying to do any optimizations, and uh, you know, instruction relaxation, most modern linkers do this by default, and I thought it's a good idea to enable it for the earlier linker. Apparently it's not, like this is not a good option. So let's, for now, so let's disable these two, no, these three, and this one for now. And rinse and repeat. So I'm going to restart this. And I'll see you maybe after GCC concludes as well. Okay. And I'm back. And it looks like it failed again. Okay, so yeah, this is disappointing. I hope at least we'll get a different error. And wait a minute. Wait, what? Why is it using these? Like, I don't think I've passed these flags. Oh, okay, so these are the internal flags that they're using. Well, they look quite similar to the optimizations that I was passing later on. Wait, let me just double check the time because these errors. Okay. This. Let's go back here and then check for any configuration logs. Now, is it the same error or is it a different type of error? Hmm. Compatible pointer types. I don't think this is the actual issue. Okay, so conf test or file is not. Okay, let me just check something real quick. So we went over here and then we did a go tool chain. Then I'm removing these. I probably should. Let me just comment these tags and then strip target. So we'll. Is it running this though? The non, it's getting picked from the directory. So, let's get back to musl. And then let's do a build dash tool chain. I don't think I changed stuff here. So they're mostly updates, but um, we don't need this. And then let's do a lib bcc host and then this bcc okay. Let's see. Generate build nodes. And yeah, why am I disabling static in here? This is just weird. And I think it has to do with one of these as well. This host pi. Oh, it could be the host pi thing. Oh, okay. It's probably that now. I don't know why I missed it the last time, but whatever. I'm going just to remove everything I've added. Yeah. And then I'll slowly try to figure out which option is the culprit. Let's do another clean run. And I'm going to pause the video once again here to not bore you with the compilation process. And I'm back, and it looks like we've reached lib standard C++, almost there. Now, we were talking about why isn't the first stage optimized. It doesn't make sense to optimize early stages of a compiler or of a temporary compiler that you'll end up throwing away anyway. Also, I don't think it's going to affect the quality of the generated code. Plus, like, these are only applying to libgcc, the static version of it, which is only needed to configure musl, so there's no harm in this, but I don't think I'm applying them to GCC, the compiler itself, the compiler driver to be more specific, so no harm done. And it saves some time and some disk space. Now, a lot of options were disabled for this to work. I'll have to, hopefully if this builds correctly, debug, like, rebuild this thing over and over again with options enabled here and there and others disabled to figure out which one's the culprit. Like I have some, like I'm thinking about a few options that might be the main culprits here, and it failed. So let's just disregard all of that. Something is terribly broken. Uh, okay. So I forgot to remove this as well. Oh, I think I already had this. But this is not being used. Like, why? This is just weird. Where's the build ID? So disable Jacob. The sanitizer just got moved. Don't think I'm using the flags yet. So I already had the threads enabled in here. We had this patch as well. You know what? Let's apply that patch again. So this is for the toolchain build. And rinse and repeat again. I'm going to attempt a final build before ending this development log. So I'm pausing this again. Okay, it looks like GCC has finished building. Now we have disabled a lot of options, and I think most of them were not actually the causes or the cause of this particular issue. However, I think this is probably due to the host pi thing. So I have yet to see if lib standard C++ will build correctly or not. But yes, typically it is this slow for the toolchain, the process of it, and like it's only a touch once thing and then forget about it once it works. The previous version was actually working for like version 14.3 or 0.2.0 for GCC, but since the last update, um, I think I've also updated like binary utilities and a couple of um, stuff like tool chains this early should barely be touched, but I'm always like trying to improve things here and there, and this leads to some breakages between updates, which is expected. Now, hopefully, when this build works, I'll try to play with the other options and see which one is the culprit and hopefully document it, and it failed. Okay, this is very frustrating. I'm going to end this video here because I don't think I'm going to be able to solve this live or while I'm recording. This needs a lot of brain power, so trying to perform some kind of relocation stream and switch. And we're getting a final link failed, bad value. Now this is just, it's a problem with the linker. GNU LD. We can okay, so I hope you enjoyed this development log. Albeit it was a bit boring, but hopefully, like I was hoping to finish the toolchain bootstrap in this development log, but looks like it's going to span to another part. So yeah, I guess I'll see you in a future devlog.